Hey everyone, this is Charles Dimitri from LoungeBoudoir.com, and in this video I'm going to reveal my top 5 tips for boudoir lighting when using flash. And if you stick around, you'll get to see my bonus tip where I'll explain how to use a flash trigger that's not compatible with your camera and still fire your flash. So when I learned that, it was like... But first, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you like these videos, and click that bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I post a new video. Okay, my top 5 tips for boudoir lighting using flash. Number 1, set your camera settings first, then adjust the power on your strobe or speed light to get the light level where you want it. The reason behind this is simple. We've got 4 variables that can be adjusted when we're trying to set the proper light level with our flash: ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and the power level on your flash. We're going to reduce the number of those variables to just one, the power level on your flash. So we want to set our camera settings first, and those aren't going to be changed because that's going to determine the look we want to get. For example, I shoot a lot of wide environmental type shots, so I set my aperture to 7.1 for a deeper depth of field, my ISO at 320 so my flash doesn't have to work so hard, and my shutter speed at 1/200th of a second to knock out the ambient light. Now I take a test shot. If there's not enough light, I increase the power on my flash. If there's too much light, I lower the power on my flash. This keeps things real simple when setting the light level, because now you're only adjusting one thing, the power level on your flash. Number 2, increase your shutter speed to reduce camera shake. If you're shooting handheld, you want to have a shutter speed that's right at sync speed, which will be around 1/200th of a second for most cameras. This will help you get sharper images when shooting handheld and cut down on blur. Number 3, increase your shutter speed to reduce the ambient light. When we're shooting with flash, we're really creating our own light by overpowering the existing ambient light in the room. So by increasing our shutter speed, we're getting more of the light we want, if not all of the light we want, from our flash, and less of the light we don't want from the ambient. Now there is an exception to this, and that is if you're mixing natural light with your flash, but that's a different scenario altogether. Number 4, use your strobe's modeling light to help set the placement of your flash. If your strobe has a modeling light, you can turn it on and walk around with it in your hand and point it at your subject to see in real time how the light is being cast on your subject. Then, when you found just the right spot, put it on a light stand, turn the modeling light off, switch to your flash mode, and you're good to go with your flash. Number 5, you don't need to buy an expensive speed light to get amazing results. There are plenty of third parties that make speed lights that will work just fine with whatever camera you have and save you a lot of money. Okay, now for my bonus tip. Did you know you can take a flash trigger made from one camera brand and use it with a camera from another camera brand? That's right. So this is a flash trigger, a Godox X-Pro C. I don't know if you can see the C there, but that stands for Canon. I'm going to turn that on, and this is my Nikon D800. I'm going to slip this flash trigger that's compatible with Canon cameras, put it on my Nikon D800, and I've got this Godox AD Pro 300 strobe. So we're going to fire this light using a Canon trigger on a Nikon camera. Watch. It works. So why does that work? What is happening here? So what is happening is that this center pin, the one on the bottom right there, that is the firing pin. And it lines up with the center point on my hot shoe, that round silver, large round silver point on the hot shoe. So it will still fire. Now these other points here, these 4 on the bottom, that controls TTL and high speed sync, but that will not communicate that if you have an off-brand camera. So only the firing pin will still be able to communicate. So what this means is you can use a Nikon trigger with a Canon camera, a Fuji trigger with a Panasonic camera, all the major brands, except for Sony, which I'll get to in a minute, can cross-pollinate these flash triggers with the cameras. Now, the reason Sony doesn't work, the flash triggers and the cameras don't work with other brands, is because their alignment of their center pin on their triggers and on their hot shoe is in a different spot. So as long as you're not trying to use a Sony trigger or camera with another off-brand trigger or camera, then you should be good to go. And that's good to know, because let's say you forget your flash trigger or it breaks and someone else nearby has one, but it's from a different brand. You know, as long as it's not Sony or you're using a Sony camera, slip it into your hot shoe and it should still fire your flash. Hey, if you're interested in learning more about boudoir lighting with both natural light and flash, check out my ebook, The Boudoir Lighting Guide, in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I will catch you at a future point in the YouTube universe.